Good evening, I'm Larry Connors. We're here on the banks of the Mississippi in downtown St. Louis. At this time, the Mississippi is at its highest level in history, almost 47 feet, 17 feet above flood stage. Tonight, we're going to show you just how powerful an out-of-control raging river can be, matched in the strength only by the power of human resolve. We began our story south of here, in Crystal City. Eight in the morning in downtown Crystal City, and McDonald's is open for waterfront dining. The water covers what is normally the busiest stretch of town. Ducks are swimming and fish are jumping on the liquid highway leading to the Crystal City post office.
Step into the water, way out a little bit deeper, wet your feet in the water of His love.
First Baptist Church rises from the water like a fortress. It's a congregation in crisis, but Reverend Richard Adams is praying for others.
There's so many other people up and down this old river that are facing trials that make ours look small.
I could never thank them enough. They have worked around the clock. Some of them we had little babies, 3-year-old baby, I got a picture of it, holding a sandbag for an adult to fill in. We've had people in wheelchairs. I have a person in my church who's a wheelchair person, paralyzed from the waist down, came out here, they set him down by the sand pile, and he sat there in the hot sun for 6 or 7 hours sandbagging. How can you thank people like that other than just say, we thank you beyond all we can say.
Just down the hill, there's a battle in progress on Bailey Road. The row of stores by Johnny's Butcher Shop could be in deep trouble.
We just don't have enough people down here. If it breaks, that means the whole row, everybody, they're going to get flooded out.
Supposed to get awful deep. They set up to the top of the soda machine. It's 45 where it's supposed to crest.
There's also trouble on the backside. Water is seeping through the wall. Tom Kolish has reason to be here. His dad owns this store. But many of those around him have no real connection.
A lot of them people haven't met. People, they're great. They come out of nowhere just to help. There's some folks right over here. They've been out here every day, all day long.
Trouble all around, but Lynn Adolph still believes the group can beat the river.
I think we can, and we will. We're gonna, yeah, I mean, there's no way. I think we'll make it, though. I know we'll make it, right, guys? Yeah. We're gonna make it. See, we will.
A week later, the sandbag wall at Bailey Road still holds tight. The flood stops here. The water is higher, but so is the wall. And it's wider now. The seeping at the backside of Johnny's Butcher Shop is plugged up. The Battle of Bailey Road may be won after all.
We're at the sandbags!
And up the hill at the First Baptist Church, sandbags are sailing through windows, into classrooms, snaking down hallways, through the exits, out to the front lines. The flood of '93 laps at the front steps, but no farther. You're traveling the streets of Limay. We're at Nellie and Fifth. Beautiful little residential area, nice large trees. Homes folks work hard to achieve and keep up. And now it's all underwater. It's a very eerie quiet here. You hear the birds up in the trees. Otherwise, it's pretty silent. Problem is, there should be a lot of joy here. Folks laughing, having a good time, enjoying their homes that they worked so hard to have. It's not going to be the same again. From Jim Hosford's porch, you see just the top of swing sets, just the top half of neighbors' homes.
Yeah, it's a mess.
You're going to try to ride it on out, though, huh?
Yeah, I'm going to stay as this water hits the floor.
Jim has no electricity. He gets by with a Coleman lantern and Coleman stove. By now, nearly everyone in this section of Limay has moved out, but not Casper and Sylvester Pound.
My brother Sylvester, this is his house where we're standing right now.
Is that right?
Mine's back there in the alley underwater.
Some people would say you're out of step with times. You should have gotten out of here.
What, leave the house of the looters? No.
In 1973, Casper Pound's brother was a looting victim. Casper is determined it won't happen again.
Any looters come around here, you know what happened to them? Like I told the cops last night, I said, pal, I said, you'll be dragging them off. He don't shoot me. He said, I got a badge. I said, well, if I catch you looting, I said, you'll be just like the rest of them.
So you're fully armed and ready for anything
Oh,
else?
yes, I got a shotgun. My name.
A block away, Lorraine Boger is worried about her cats, all 14 of them.
And I put out about 30 pounds of cat food and about 20 things of water and 15 litter boxes.
Officers of the Humane Society boat to her home to check on the cat's safety.
Kid? Careful. Why don't we get him on the way out?
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
Okay, this one's on a tree right here. We'll get this one first.
He's right here. He's just trying to decide between the devil and the deep blue sea. Come on, settle down. All right, how you doing? Don't bite me, I just pulled you out of the water.
On this trip, they only bag one cat. They will go back to try again and check on one favorite cat in particular.
You couldn't hear him? Maybe he drowned already.
After the flood of 1973, a levee was built here on the Kaiser Creek, a levee that most everyone thought would prevent anything like this.
We had to have a levee, so to get the levee, they had to take a house. Well, that house was ours.
Joanne Oldham and her husband liked the neighborhood so well that when their home was destroyed just to build the levee, they bought another home just up the block, but they didn't buy flood insurance. What do you feel when you look out there and see your house out there? It's tough, isn't it?
Well, most people are shaking all the time.
Yeah.
It's normal. Your stomach's going like this, and it's still a little hard.
Well, I hope you'll be able to get in and get back to life.
Oh, I've got so many nice people already willing to help me. I've already gotten some donations, personal donations, and it's been wonderful. The people have just been wonderful. Everybody. This is the nicest neighborhood. People are so friendly. Friends are friends all over the place.
So you're going to continue living here knowing this threat's going to be here?
I will move back in and fix up the house. I'll decide after that. If they don't fix the creek, no, I won't stay.
Just can't go through it a third time.
No, I'm too old for that. I lost my husband about 5 years ago, and I was doing quite well all by myself in the house. And no, unless they fix the creek, this Kaiser Creek, I won't come back. I won't stay. I will fix
it. Childhood is a magical time. A time of wonder and surprises, laughter and dreams. At Anheuser-Busch, we believe every child should experience it all. That's why we support the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Because there's nothing better than helping kids just be kids. The Anheuser-Busch Companies, glad to be your neighbor, proud to be your friend.
Betsy, you've got to get your eyes checked.
Yeah, probably new glasses too, but I don't have the time or the money.
Now, for a limited time, LensCrafters will pay for your next eye exam. Give us your new prescription and exam receipt, and we'll deduct up to $45 from your new glasses.
Back already? They look great.
LensCrafters made them in less than an hour and saved me money.
Let LensCrafters pay for your next eye exam and bring you better fit for greater comfort in about an hour.
Hurry. Offer ends soon.
Denny's Ask America how they like our new prime rib dinner.
Now this is prime rib. Thick, tender,
And very popular.
browned and roasted on the outside.
Lean and juicy inside.
Baked potatoes, Caesar salad.
They give you the works.
It's a fancy meal.
Without the fancy price.
It tickles my fancy at Lenny's. Denny's.
America, there's a prime rib dinner done just the way you like, only $6.99 and only at Denny's.
Denny's. Who would have thought?
This is the River Des Peres. In a normal July, it's really not much of a river, more like a trickle. But in July of 1993, it is a raging animal, flowing backwards and over, forcing everyone out of its way. 18 dump trucks began bringing dirt for a line of defense.
Do you plan on evacuating, or do you plan on staying? Or?
No, we're not going to stay. If they turn the electric off, we'll leave when they turn the electric off.
St. Louis City police and firefighters began telling residents it's wise to leave. They hand out voluntary evacuation notices.
Suddenly they're going to do something. Is electric on or off tonight? We don't know.
But many wonder how much of a choice they have when the power is cut.
I've been living here since 1958. This is ridiculous.
Mayor Bosley defends his action.
People are angry, and I understand that. But the key is people have got to understand this is a disaster that we're dealing with here. This is not a picnic. It is no fun. We're taking this very seriously. And in order to do that, we have to take the necessary precautions.
How you do it? How you do it? But even in the face of chaos, Ray Schmitzkins has a broad grin. Ray is letting this talk of flood roll right off his back. His house went untouched in the flood of '73. They're loading the moving truck at Ray's place anyway. Along with his wife and daughter, Ray is leaving the shores of River Des Peres for the entire month. Well, if you survived the '73, why are you deciding to go ahead and move out now for a month?
If you knew my daughter is kind of a girl that... So what am I going to do?
You're going to do what your daughter wants, right?
That's exactly.
We're going to dump the bean bags on.
Over in the Carondelet neighborhood, Ed McCarthy can hardly believe his eyes.
Look at this. I mean, all these people tell you it's wonderful, it really is.
Ed and his wife Ruth have 6 children and lots of friends. All of those friends saved this home from the flood of '73, and they've answered the call again this time around.
Yeah, my kids were really instrumental. They just, I didn't know if I wanted to do it again, but they just wouldn't let me not do it, you know.
Mrs. McCarthy needed people to bring sandbags. They needed plastic, so we just wanted to get it all over here for her.
We're running ahead over there.
We're friends. That's why we did it.
I think people, they just like us. It's a gift. It's a gift God's given us. That's all I can say. It just was a sign of love, just love.
Kimmswick, Missouri, population 140. A place where trains now are just barely squeaking by what is normally just a creek. And caterpillars thunder round the clock. John Hogan has been in that seat for 30 hours, one of many constructing a large earthen levee to save this town. But there are 3 buildings on the wrong side of hope. An antique store built in 1895 where the Grimshaw family has lived for 4 generations. And these 2 homes, the homes of a father and son, Ray and Randy Cagle.
We've been working since Friday, all my boys. Pat and I had 10 kids. We got 9 living and 2 girls yet, and they all come down and help out, you know, when I call. And one of them calls every day, you know. Thank goodness. I love them all very much, so I don't know what else to say. I just hope this whole, because I don't have no insurance, a damn thing, and I can't afford it. Not on Social Security.
Ray built this house with his own hands 43 years ago. His son Randy has spent his whole life right here on the family lot, the lowest ground in Kimmswick.
We're worried. We're afraid we're going to lose it. Water gets up to the 46-foot level as they've got it marked out there. That's going to be probably at the top of the bags, and I don't know if we've got enough strength underneath the hole.
Kimmswick Mayor Martha Patterson says the lay of the land forced her to build the levee here instead of there. She says she agonized over it, especially since Ray Cagle is someone she's known all her life.
He's hurting. He's lived here for years and years and years. His house is going to flood. He's hurting. He's angry. And I feel for him, and I understand it. It was the city's decision, and I take responsibility for that because I'm the mayor. I'm not going to pass the buck to have to go for the majority and the city's survival over 2 homes. And if my house was over there, I'd do the same thing. I would not sacrifice the whole town for my house.
How long, baby, how long? How long, baby, how long?
In St. Charles County, Missouri, higher ground is at a premium. Herb Kipp's farm is doubling as a stable. The airport is looking more like a marina, and the Noah's Ark Motor Inn is a safe refuge from floodwater.
I saw people out here the other day actually fishing off their decks.
But in Deerfield Village, Don Nelson and his neighbors are just a step above water and feeling the strain.
The tension is worse than anything else. You just try to keep yourself calm and say there's nothing you can do about it, and, you know, and do the best that you can. First time I've had fish swimming in my backyard. See the fish, right? Fish in there swimming around.
Some in St. Charles County moved into this shelter at Orchard Farm, but then had to move yet again when a sewer backup forced them out.
You can't be doggy here?
They relocated to First United Methodist in St. Charles. Pastor Paul Metcalf says one woman in particular took it in good humor.
He said, I think I'll just become a gypsy and put an earring in my ear and a bandana around my head.
I made it through work today and came home, and they didn't tell us to move yet, so we might make 2 nights here.
The Duncan family is happy to be here. Red Cross food, a place to sleep, and toys for the kids. Down the road, the Wilson family is staying in a hotel, waiting for the next downpour.
Just more stuff to add to the pile that's already underwater.
Priscilla and her husband Jeff have 4 kids, each learning to deal with this in his or her own way.
He just kind of rolls with the punches. He doesn't like it, but it's not too bad. He just hold him a little more.
We left our house April 15th and got back in our house June 15th, and then we were back in our house for about 2.5 weeks, and then out again.
The Wilson family doesn't even worry about the rain anymore.
You know, all my stuff's under. It doesn't really matter.
Except for the carpets will be spongy, and the walls will be mushy.
It's hard to think of many positive things coming from a flood, but the Wilsons have discovered one. It can draw a family even closer together.
It's all under it. I don't have to worry about it anymore. So, you know, I got my kids, my wife, my health. What else you need?
It's only natural that children look to their parents for answers. So to help you explain why some things that may be fine for adults aren't right for children, Anheuser-Busch offers Family Talk, free advice from professionals to use with your kids while they're still learning to be grown up. And their favorite teacher is you. Let's stop underage drinking before it starts.
Presenting Casa Gallardo's famous chimichanga. This beauty's 3 inches wide, loaded with beef, pork, or chicken. It's crispy on the outside because it's lightly fried to order. And look at this guacamole, chunks of fresh avocado. For dessert, free fried ice cream with honey and pecans. Normally this would all run about $10, but now it's just $6.95. That's this and this for this. Only here at Casa Gallardo. Did I mention this is free?
If the taste of sports drinks has driven you away, or the hype, or some of those places, look what's driving into St. Louis. New Nautilus Plus, the thirst quencher with the performance you'd expect from the name Nautilus. Because its 3 great flavors have no salty aftertaste, and you get 4 more ounces to the bottle than Gatorade, with all the minerals you need to replenish your deepest thirst. It's one hard-working drink. Now available at these fine stores. New Nautilus Plus. It works as hard as you do.
We're going to be making sandbags all night, and they're going to be putting them out on the levee as long as we've got lights on the levee.
Thousands of sandbags to save a town of 600. Night becomes day, the last day of Lori and Jean Doro's honeymoon, spent filling and tossing sandbags with strangers.
I live in Florissant. This doesn't affect me personally at all, but I figured I'd help out.
You don't have family here or anything?
No,
But after all the effort, the sandbagging is stopped. The Dardenne levee is giving way. West Alton residents are told, evacuate.
At 12:30 p.m. today, the Consolidated North County Levee District advised that it will not be able to hold the levees.
West Alton is a town that doesn't get rattled by floodwater. They've seen it so many times. Some kids see it here as a chance to play an ill-advised game of catch, and the adults talk about floods past.
It was up here to this window in '73, past this fence, and this is a 4.5-foot fence.
Some just stay put. Russ and Mary's Tavern is even open for business. That's Russ and Mary watching things from the porch.
We won't leave the house here until it does get on the floor in the house here.
A lot of people just don't want to give up. They've worked all their lives for their homes or something, and they don't want to give that up.
The Coast Guard is making a house call. 82-year-old Reed Bauer lives alone in a place he's called home since 1933. His relatives have called for help, but the last thing Mr. Bauer wants to do is leave, especially on account of Old Man River.
You didn't want to get out of here before today?
No. Sure didn't.
Why not? Because you weren't concerned?
Well, wasn't concerned, wasn't worried about it. 73 is another big one. And then we have one at 80-something.
Right here? Yeah.
Got one today. We gotta have that, because you guys gotta work.
Just across the river, Grafton, Illinois is buzzing with boats.
You don't go to Alaska without buying a snowsuit. You don't live in Grafton without buying a boat.
Time is short, but neighbor is helping neighbor to make a quick getaway from Grafton. This comes as no surprise to Mayor Wendy Nair.
Everybody's pulling together, you know. They'll give me a lot of thunder and raise Cain with me, but when we get into crisis, they're all here, everybody ready to work together.
From a bridge over a swollen creek, 4 boys are making the best of it. One thing about a flood, it improves the fishing on Main Street.
Oh, there you go.
This is not the summer 13-year-old Jason Carey and his buddies were expecting.
You see baseball diamonds underwater.
There will be no Little League this summer, no pickup games in the backyard. Instead of mowing the grass at Dorothy Coleman's place, Jason floats 3 feet above it.
And that's where my brother's trailer used to be. We had to move it.
On the road home, Jason checks out the high points and stoops below the low points. Power lines are draped head high. Jason doesn't give them a second thought. It's just something you have to do to make it home.
That one right there.
Jason's living room is a pool this summer. So's his room. But at arm's length and on tiptoes, Jason tucked away baseball cards and favorite games.
Put stuff up in the cabinets. It ain't gonna get that high. Hope.
One day, kids and grandkids will hear about Jason's summer and about this flood of floods. Maybe the one and only in Jason's lifetime to ever hit home.
My dad says we're gonna move to Jerseyville. It's about 16 miles away from here.
You want to move?
Yeah.
How come?
I don't like this river.
Did you like it when you were down here at first?
Yeah. Now it's in my house. I don't like it.
Mark Twain once said, "You cannot tame a lawless stream. It will do what it will in its own good time." Well, for the Mississippi, its time has come. The crest has fallen. Now the cleanup begins, and volunteers and donations will be in even greater demand. The flood of '93 will certainly be remembered for all the damage it caused, but we will also remember the volunteers for all the good they did.
that Helen Fitzgerald.
Man, I can't wait to come to the city lot. Come on, man.
Come down.
Down here.